Hey, welcome to Mike's Trains, and thanks for joining me for another video. Last week we did all the lines in the road here, which all looked pretty good. I added in the two parking lot slash where the buildings are gonna be mounted, but I had said we were gonna start working on this back area here because I want to get that done before I do this foreground stuff. We want to get all that back there done so that we don't have to reach over everything, and we have good access to all of it. So what I want to do is I want to start with this back corner of the road right here where the road goes into the wall. Okay, so you saw in the past we did this. Look at my stuff's peeling up a little bit. I'm gonna leave this. What I want to do is I want to enter this road here so that it goes into the backdrop. Now I tried a bunch of different things. I was going to actually paint onto the wall the remainder of the road going out behind the rocks there into that blue space that's down, but my memory wasn't as good as I thought it was, and that's really not going to work. Alright, there's just too much there to deal with. The road is too far in this way, so what do we do in that case? Well, I went on to Google Maps and I did a street view search, and I found a street near where I live, and I came up with this picture here. And this picture here pretty much works for what I want to do. So what I did was I printed this. This is on regular paper. It's one of the printouts that I did to match up in there to see if it's going to work. And what I did was I cut this up and I cut it down to a size that fits in there, and from that printed onto photo paper. I came up with this. This is the actual backdrop that's going to go on there. So let's fit that into place. Let me move this camera so that I can actually get in there and do this. There, that should do it. And this is going to fit in there just like this. Just like that. And there's our road going into the backdrop. Now, it's not 100% matched. The yellow lines match up. There's a little crook to the road, but I really don't care. I think it's proves the point. It's enough to give you that feel of it. It goes out into the backdrop. Now, I know it doesn't match exactly with the scenery behind it, but I feel like it's close enough, and I can bury up this end down here. We can bury up this end over here. We have to put trees and bushes and scenery in here to cover this and blend it right in. But I think overall that's exactly what we're looking for. So the next thing now is to get rid of this blue down in here. Alright, so now we have the backdrop in. I've already glued it. Now if you want to know more about how I did this and how I made it look like it does, I'll put a link. You can see it in the top of the screen there of a video that goes way more in depth of how I made these backdrops, as well as all of these other ones. So I'm not going to go any further into that, but now we need to deal with this blue spot here. And what I have for that, it's a very small area. So what I have is I have some Q-tips, I have a piece of paper, and I have, let's see if we can turn you back this way. There we go. Piece of paper, and I have 3 different shades of acrylic paints. These are not expensive paints. They're Walmart or Michael's, just the regular craft paints. So I'm going to put dark green. I should probably shake them up. We have a dark green. We have, now this is going to go real quick. So I have a sort of a medium then I have a light. Yeah, that should be enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the darkest color. I'm going to load up my Q-tip, and I'm just going to jab it in there. We want to just cover this all up. You don't want the full coverage. We're just going to get like that in there, just to cover it. So this is what we end up with. Alright, so all I've done is I dabbed in the dark green first, and then I took the medium green and spread that around, and then the light green on top where the light would be, kind of a thing. And we're just going to leave it like that. And that's it. Okay, so that'll go like that. And we're gonna stop at that point. Now I'm going to start working this foreground. And what I need for that is some white glue. Here we go. Alright, so I've got a little bit of white glue. This is just Elmer's white glue. You've probably seen me do this a dozen times or more. I'm going to spread this in here. And actually, I'm going to do the top of this as well, as long as we're here, because that's only painted. We want to get dirt all up in there. Okay. So we'll close this down. Now I have a paintbrush here. I always use a brush with this stuff just to get it around. And we're going to go right up to the road edge. That's not going to work. Here, we'll use our Q-tip here, and I'm going to just brush this around right up to the road edge. Yeah, that's better. Right up to the road edge, like this. And I'm covering over the road a little bit, and that's fine. You kind of want to do that because that's what's going to blend our road into the groundwork here. Alright, so let's start spreading that around before we go too far. I don't want this glue to start drying up. So let me go get my dirt and we'll start hammering that in there. Alright, so I actually went and got a brush while I was out, and we're just going to brush this all in throughout this whole area. Yeah, that's much better. Go right up to the scenery here. There we go. Now we're going to cover this in here too. Like that. Okay. Now, on top of that, I have my dirt. Now, take a little spoon, and we're going to just, tap that in here. Like that. And now that should be enough dirt where I can get one of my dry brushes, and we're going to spread that around. Okay, so we're just going to take a regular dried paintbrush, and we're going to spread that around in here. Get right up to the back. And just bring it right out. And I'm hitting this very lightly on the top. I'm not dragging the dirt out of the glue. I'm letting the glue fall on top of the dirt. And we're going to need a little bit more. So we want to cover the glue completely. All right. Now the extra that's on here, we're just going to let that dry up, right? I'm not gonna take it off now. I want it to dry in place. Now we got to handle the front of this. We have some dirt spots in there as well. So let's get some glue down into there. And then dirt here is going to go here. Alright, now all I want to do is I want to wipe out, I went a little bit further than I wanted to here. So I want to clean off right there. And then we want to fill all that with dirt too. This is going to define the sidewalks and the landscape parts. And then that'll go like that. So now we have our landscape parts. And then let's move into the next phase, because we can do this all wet. It doesn't really matter. Alright, so now we're going to hit this all up with some 70% alcohol. And we're just going to drip that on there, get everything wet. Alright, so now what I want to do, I'm going to go a little bit out of order. Now we want to start hitting this with some grass. Alright, so let me get that together. Alright, so I have some diluted white glue. It's just Elmer's glue that's, I watered it down about 50–60%. Alright, so now that's all glued down, okay? Now what I'd like to do is I would like to add a little bit of static grass through here, some taller grass. Alright, so that's how it's going to look. It's going to go just like that. Looks pretty good. I'm not going to clean it up now. We need all this to dry, and then we'll come back and vacuum it all up. The only thing left is in front of the parking garage here. I want to get these areas done. I want a very short dark green grass in there. So let me go find that and we'll get that put in and we'll see where we are then. Alright guys, that's it for that. Now, I can't go any further than this now until this dries. Let's see how close I can get you. So that looks like that, close up. Now you can see the sidewalk is defined. It matches the rest of the sidewalk behind here. It continues across. We have the green all up in there. And you can see our painting of the bushes down there doesn't look so bad now. Now I didn't cover this area right here with anything. We're going to paint that. I'm going to hit that with a little bit more dirt. We're going to do another layer because you can see the line from the road. I want that to disappear. We're going to fill that with ballast and dirt. Alright. And we got this over here. I think it all looks pretty good so far. And you can see all the grass standing. And this is the back side of the building that's going to be here. And over there. So at this point, we need to let everything dry. We need to let it all dry, and then we'll come back and vacuum up all this stuff, and we'll continue on with the next phase of the scenery here. So we'll be back in a bit. Alright, so everything in here is dried now. It's actually been over a day. So I've let it all dry. Now I'm going to vacuum up all this stuff out of here. And then we'll go on to one more thing I want to get done. Alright, so now we're all cleaned up. You can kind of see what we're left with. And I think it looks fairly good. I'm going a little closer. And this is what we have. Alright, so this is our line from the parking lot. Now there's some little spots here. I may clean those off a little bit more. But for the most part, that's going to be it. And then the same over here. We're all looking good. This is the entrance right here into the parking lot. And then we have all the tall grass down over here, which I want to say looks pretty good. I think I like it. And then all the way down into the back there. So the last thing I want to do is I want to add some hedge type bushes in here, right along the front here, and down the side of this building right here. Let me move the camera so I can get you a better view, and we'll take a look. So what I'm looking at is I want to add a hedge right here. I want to add a hedge here, and possibly I'm thinking also right here. So first thing I want to do is I want to clean up this little front sidewalk here. So I'm just going to scrub this a little bit with Q-tip, and we'll get that sidewalk kind of cleaned up. I don't need to get too fancy with it, and if I don't like some of this down in here, I can always come back with a little bit of paint and clean that. Let's see, do I have any? No, I don't have any Windex left. A little bit of Windex would actually clean that up nice because it's only glue with a little bit of dirt on it. But that's good enough for now. What I'm going to put there for hedges is something else that I made. And these are the hedges that I'm going to use. Alright. And yes, I made these. And I think they look pretty good. There's the back side. See, they're not as well done because that's going against the building. But the ends right into the front, this is what I'm going to use. Okay, so that's how the hedges were. That's what the hedges are. This is what they're made from. This is a Scotch-Brite pad. You buy these at Home Depot, any hardware store. You buy a pack of them for a few dollars. And what I did, you can see here, I just cut strips. Okay. And then with those strips, I took some of this. This is ground foam right here. And all I did was saturate this stuff here in a very diluted glue, and then I put some of the ground foam in a little paper plate. I saturated them in the glue, and then I just took this and I put a bunch of this in the plate, and I just dipped them and, you know, forced the stuff into the ground foam, and this is what I end up with, and I think it came out pretty good. And this is what I'm going to use. So let's go ahead and put these in, and what I want to do to put those in, I'm going to take, if you remember, we had this piece of cardboard for paint. We're going to reuse that again, and I'm going to throw down a little bit of white glue on my cardboard here. And first thing I want to do is I want to measure right here to the end, and we want to make a cut on this. So I want to cut this right here. Okay. And then this will glue into place right in that spot. And go down there just like that. And then I want to take a little bit more. I want to come this way, probably about to here. And this is going to define the entrance into the parking garage. And I'm going to throw another one right here, a little bit long. Like that. And then we need another one onto this side. And then we need another one right here. And I think we'll take this piece here, this little scrap piece that we cut off, and we'll fit that right in the back here. Yeah, that's not really going to work. It's not big enough. So let's take a bigger one. Just like that. And then we have a fully hedged front of the building. Looks something like that. Alright, and that's where I'm going to finish for today. I'm not going to go any further than this. Now you can see over here in the end it's not as full finished as this ends here. I can always come in here later with a little bit of white glue and then sprinkle some more of the ground foam right on the end of whatever ends that I want to cover up. But for the time being, I think we're going to call that done. I kind of like it. I really do. And I think that's gonna go a long way to selling what we've got going on here. Now the only other thing I need to do, and I'll do this later, is I'll put a white line here and then a stop line across, and then we'll make this into some sort of emergency parking right here in front of the bushes. Done deal. That's it. Alright, so then the next week we'll look at finishing all of this side and right into the backdrop down there. We'll finish all of that and work our way this way. I mean, you can see we have some areas here that aren't quite right. I mean, this dirt is a little too heavy. We need to ballast a little bit, fix that up and get this all this area here all looking right. Right down here we have a kind of a crater under the sidewalk. We have to finish this sidewalk here to meet into this side. There's a lot of stuff to do. So we'll take care of that next week. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for this week. I think we've gotten a lot done. It's looking pretty good. I do like it. So that's the full look. You know, we'll add some trees, and that'll further blend in all of this stuff into the foreground. And that's the beginnings of our town. So again, that's it for this week. That's all I've got. If you're just finding me the first time and you like what you saw in this video, please by all means subscribe to the channel. Love to have you along. Check out the other videos I have. Maybe there's some other stuff that's helpful to you or you'd enjoy seeing. So until next time, stay safe and happy modeling.